This is a head coaching issue.
Yes.
This is a head coaching issue. When already your senior player is saying that their offensive coordinator isn't coaching them hard enough after 3 games, this is on the head coach, who, when you hire a guy, has to set a tone for how it's done and what his expectations are and what his standards are. The head coach is in charge. And I know the head coach loves to talk about defense and be a part of the defense and everything like that, but it is the head coach's job. When you make that hire, you say, hey, this guy's got kind of a quirky personality. Maybe he's a little high-strung. He's a little nervous to him, and maybe he's going to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Figure it out. It's not up to Marcedes Lewis. First of all, Marcedes Lewis, stay on sides. Stop jumping off sides.
That'd be nice.
Right. I know you're the leader of everything, and you've been around the league forever.
He's got the big staff.
Yeah, stop taking penalties. Right. If you're going to be the grand leader, just don't jump off sides anymore. Yeah. But why are we talking about the tight end of the offensive coordinator? Where's the head coach in this?
The way that Matt Eberflus runs this team, we've seen him cycle through a few different coaches at this point. Some, he gets rid of Luke Getsy. Others he has to move on from for various reasons from during last season. The defense that's on film for the Bears looks like a defense that's coached hard. Now, it's also a defense that's got a lot of resources in it. It's a very talented defense, but they do play hard. You see the imprint of Matt Eberflus on the Bears defense. Matt Eberflus's same philosophy, like the same hits principle, that we haven't actually heard him utter that acronym very much so far this season, which, okay, whatever. But you see the hits principle
on the hits principle.
Yes. Thank you, Flus. You see it with the Bears defense. You don't really see it with the Bears offense. You don't see that same urgency. You don't see them attacking, not just attacking with a deep pass. You don't see them trying to
maul people.
Yeah, you don't see that same type of fire, that same type of urgency. You don't see them in attack mode, snap by snap, with the way they play the game. That same hits principle that just plays out all over the defense, you don't really see it with the offense. And yes, that falls on him as the head coach too.
I asked Matt Eberflus about his role when it comes to his vision filtering down through the entire team.
It's about coaching the coaches, so I'm not able to be everywhere at one time, but I am able to have coaches that are really good at what they do and understand standards and how we want to get things done at their position. So we set those standards. We understand how we want to look in terms of the drills, in terms of the teamwork, in terms of the after action, in terms of how we evaluate those things, in terms of the fundamental skill that I was talking about in that article, and that's at every position. So that's how you do it as a head football coach.
So if you're already having an issue with one of the coaches, where has the coaches been at this point? If that's Eberflus's job to walk down the hall and say, Shane, get on their asses a little bit. They can take it.
Yep.
They can take it. Don't worry about it. You don't worry about them fomenting any mutiny against you. I got you.
It's a lot of veterans.
You go do what we hired you to do.
It's a lot of veterans in that huddle. Yes, there's some youth also, but just like Marcedes Lewis is talking about, there's a lot of vets on that squad, and there's a lot of guys who've taken lumps with the Bears for a couple of seasons here, trying to build toward this point. And you see phases of the game where it looks like it's supposed to look, and a bad play call is one thing, but you want a team that looks like they're the aggressor more often than not. And the Bears' offense just doesn't look like the aggressor very often. They look confused. They look like the prey more than the predator. You want them to be the one setting the tone, setting the tempo. At times, yes, that might mean we're going to be stubborn and do some things and punt the football away, but just managing all of this, managing the flow of the game itself, managing your coaching staff. It's year 3 for Flus. And it doesn't mean he's got to slam the door behind him and get in the room and point his finger in Shane Waldron's face, but to be very direct and observational about where Waldron's influence needs to show up for this offense. That's a conversation that needs to happen, apparently.
Maybe Waldron has never had the autonomy he has now. I don't know what his relationship was like with Pete Carroll.
Right.
And very often with coaching staffs, there is the whole good cop, bad cop thing. And you end up with somebody at one level just kicking your ass and making you feel awful. And then you can go cry on the shoulder of somebody else. And say, hey, he just wants the most out of you. That's all. He doesn't dislike you.
Right.
Like if he's yelling at you, it means he believes in you. It means he cares. Like
that's supposedly a strength of Matt Eberflus, to be able to coach a guy hard and not have him feel like you're angry at him or to get upset at you after he walks away. That is apparently, from everything I hear about him, a strength of Matt Eberflus.
It was always a huge strength of Lovie Smith. That Lovie was great at the parental side, especially with younger players. Well, what Marcedes Lewis is saying is we're past some of that.
Yeah.
We can take it. For him to say it's not Pop Warner, those are carefully chosen words.
Yeah.
And that's some shade. Make no mistake. It's not Pop Warner. We aren't little kids.
Yeah.
And maybe the Bears are just – and look, I've praised them for how nice they are. I think Ryan Poles is super nice. I really do. And from all accounts, Ian Cunningham's really nice. Matt Eberflus seems really nice. And football's not a nice game.
And when you have a rookie number 1 overall pick quarterback with everything on the shoulders of Caleb Williams, then I think the communication with him, you kind of be careful about that. You be careful about how many voices are in his ears, how many cooks are in the kitchen, and all those types of things. With an offensive coordinator who's done this gig before in a pivotal year for your head coach and for your franchise in many ways, you don't need to tiptoe around it with Shane Waldron. He's got a big job in a big city, coaching an offense of a team with big expectations. And however many closed-door meetings need to happen, they need to happen so Waldron knows he is empowered to run this offense. Even his players are trying to ensure them that he is empowered to coach them hard, to be demanding of them. And whatever details, there's so many details that are apparently being missed with this offense, on the offensive line, at the receiver position, with the play calling, the situational awareness. All these different things are not coalescing for the Bears offense right now. And everyone's looking to Shane Waldron to figure out, how do you drive us to get this thing right? It's a lot of eyeballs on him.
The offense has been uncoordinated.
Yeah.
And he is, by definition, the coordinator. That is his job. His job is to get everything working correctly. And I was more concerned with the X's and O's. And now we're hearing there's an issue with the Jimmies and Joes. That they're like, hey, you can coach us. We're kind of, just go ahead. We're right here. We're listening. We want to get the best out of ourselves and what we can do. And you had Caleb saying, yeah, he calls the plays.
And that's the thing. My main focus coming into this thing was, how demanding will Shane Waldron be of mechanics and timing with Caleb and pre-snap recognition and all these things, that I've actually been very impressed with Caleb Williams. And I can't divorce Shane Waldron's role in that, because to me, that was the biggest area of growth that I was going to watch for Caleb early in his NFL career. And I think he's been really good in that regard 3 games in to his NFL career by comparison to what he was in college. So credit to Shane Waldron for that. The whole rest of the offense, though, there's a lot of ground to cover.